morning, internet family. Happy Sunday. I feel like I've worn the same clothes the last 10,000 videos in a row. I'm just on my way to work. And I actually have notes on my steering wheel today to make sure I've got this right. I didn't have time to sit at home and record it, but I've just got like a fun fact today. So Matthew 19:24, it's Jesus talking. He says, "Again, I tell you, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a person to enter the kingdom of God." And what this is talking about, the verse before and after, it's talking about rich people who have a lot of money, a lot of things, wealthy people who have wealth, material gain. He's talking about how hard it is for them to get into the kingdom of heaven. And the reason for that is because we tend to make things and success and achievements and material belongings, those become an idol to all of us. It's hard for anyone to have wealth and not get caught up in clinging to it tighter than we're supposed to. And this concept, what he's really saying is that we have to shed all of that. We have to hang on to it loosely, meaning that, if we're a multimillionaire, we own just so much stuff, we have to hold it like this. And this is where our heart still belongs to God, because if we're holding it like this, we're probably going to drop it. It's not ours. We're not clinging to it. We don't care if we still have it or not. And we're also giving it away. We're holding on to it loosely. It is not what matters to us. What we're holding on to is God and the gospel and the Lord being the Lord of our life, instead of our wealth, our money, our things, our success, our name for ourselves, all of those things. So the fun fact about this verse, so I've heard it two different ways. I almost hit a squirrel. I actually hit a squirrel the other day, and I've never done that before, and it was heartbreaking. Anyway, scared me. So I've heard this two ways. Biblical scholars all around the world for all of forever have interpreted this two different ways. So the way they both make a lot of sense. Who knows? But they both have the same meaning, so it doesn't actually matter. So one way is the eye of the needle. I forgot to look up the actual name of the gate, because each entrance into each city in this time, probably still, I guess, but in biblical times, had a name. But there was an entrance to Jerusalem. They haven't found the ruins of this to have evidence, but supposedly, and I believe this to be true, there was an entrance into Jerusalem, a gate that was very small. It was a very large door. It was open to, the main street where all the shops and everything were, a very large door, but it would be closed, especially at night or in times of, security being locked down. Like, level 4 for us, they would close this big door and it would leave a very small door, not much bigger than what a person could walk through. So while your camel could make it through, your camel would have to be completely unloaded. Any animal you had that had a load on it, that had anything it was carrying, would have to be unloaded. The camels would have to come through on their knees, which they can do, but loadless on their knees. All animals would have to walk through without their packs on, because they wouldn't fit with their packs. People would have to come off of their animals and walk through. It was small, and that kept people from being able to come in hurriedly, come in with, you can't bring war through a gate that only an animal with nothing on it or one person at a time can walk through. You can't bring war through that. You're going to get taken out before you can attack anybody. So that gate was called the eye of the needle. So it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. And just like I had explained a minute ago, it's showing that it's not impossible. You just have to lose it. You have to be willing to shed all the worldly things, all the wealth, all the riches, all the success, all the name for yourself. You have to be willing to shed that to walk through, to get into the kingdom of heaven. You have to be willing to become unload bearing and only be yourself when you walk through, and not carry any of that with you, because we're not carrying any of it with us anyways, guys. I don't care if you've got a penny to your name or $1 million. I don't care if you drive a Porsche or if you drive a van like I drive, or if you live in a mansion, or if you're living in a hut in Uganda. Whatever you've got, you're not taking it with you. So it doesn't actually matter. And the other way that I've heard this interpreted is that it might have been a mistranslation way before we got a hold of it. Like back when the original languages were written, maybe it was written down wrong, because the word for camel in Greek, I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right, okay, but it's kamelos, I think, Kamelos, kamelos. And the word for rope or cable is kamilos, Kamilos. One letter difference, okay? I should have probably looked at the. Anyway, I can't tell you what the Greek writing looks like, but they're so similar that it is possible that it was written down wrong or misinterpreted, mistranslated long ago. And I don't know about you guys, but actually I broke my threader some time back. And occasionally, believe it or not, occasionally I do sew stuff. I actually did some embroidery a couple times too, and I actually enjoy it. But threading a needle without the threader is really difficult. Like, I have this whole technique. Like, I have to cut it and make it a clean break. No phrase, lick it, and then I have to, it's not easy. And if you think about threading a needle, you would have to be focused. You would have to be no phrase, no extra, and it's kind of the same concept. And either way, it's not easy. Getting the camel in without his load when you're coming in as a traveler with a load on your camel is not easy. And threading a needle is not easy. So whatever way this is actually, whatever way that is meant to be translated or meant to be interpreted, it comes down to the same concept. And I just wanted to share that because I found it fascinating when I learned both of those facts, actually, both of those possible facts, both of those things. And I remember for a long time hearing that like a camel through the eye of a needle. And I took it literally for a long time, like an actual camel through the eye of a needle. And I never really understood it because I didn't have the right background and the context to it. So there you have it. Matthew 19, 20, 24, fully explained. I hope you guys have a magnificent day and a great start to your week tomorrow. Love you all.